Hi, I'm Susan Wilson, and this is History Tidbits. Really cool things that you probably didn't know. We are standing at the edge of the 48-acre Boston Common, the center of Boston, a common space since the 4th year of the colony. The colony was founded in 1630, and by 1634, they had established this as a common space for everyone to use. Now, let's fast forward a couple of centuries. The city had grown. In fact, it had gone from a town to a city, and by the mid to late 1800s, this place was a bloody mess. It was a bustling city. And if you see Tremont Street back here, this was filled. If you were here like in the 1890s, you would see streetcars going up and down. We had had streetcars. There had been metal tracks laid in the ground way back in the late 1850s. And first, they were led by horse cars. And then the cars, these little trams, were electrified starting in 1888. And it was once said that in 1895, if you were trying to go down Tremont Street, you could actually, it was so crowded and so congested with these streetcars that you could have walked on the tops of streetcars all the way down to Boylston Street. So something had to be done. And various people in Boston, various entrepreneurs had looked at what had been done in some European cities, this idea of having the traffic and these streetcars go underneath the city. So the idea was broached of, why don't we have a subway system? This finally came to fruition. It was not an easy job. There was massive digging. There were deaths in the digging. There were uncovering of graves of people who had been buried here that had to be moved to another area. There was an uncovering of an old Indian fish weir that proved that Native Americans had indeed fished here back in early times. But anyway, despite all the troubles and despite the expense, a little under $5 million, they were able to start the first subway. And if you look over here, this was one of the first 4 stations ever built. This is the Park Street Station, and this is where what we call today the T stopped. Now, I mentioned before that there were metal rails on the ground. The train that actually came here on the very, very first underground visit by the streetcar was September 1st, 1897. It actually started out in Allston and went on the on-street tracks. And at the time, at the very, very beginning when this opened, the whole underground only was 6/10 of a mile. So it wasn't the vast underground that we have today in the vast sections of our transit system. But over across the street from the UU Church on Boylston and Arlington, the Unitarian Church there, just behind the statue of Channing, if you go, there would be an underground chute, and that's where the streetcars went under, and then they went down to the Boylston station and ended here. And it was a very, very, very exciting thing. And little by little, over the years, different lines were added, and these were all extended. Some still go overground, but many of them go underground. So this became the first working subway in all of the United States. That's your history tidbit for the day.